Okay, so today I'm making a coal yard and hut. This is a Wills 00 Scenic Series kit, and it should be a fairly quick and easy build. The first step for me is repainting, because if you can see, coal yard hut roofs would have never been green. Similarly, the walls wouldn't have been this vibrant kind of grey. And I'm repainting all the pieces before I put them together, because it's just easier and you can sort of have a bit of room for error. For example, this building here was painted with an airbrush once it was all put together. Now, we bought this all put together, but as you can see, the bits along the roof here are a bit out of shape when they were tidied up with the brush, and even with masking you can still get a bit of paint over the edges, so it's much easier to paint the walls and roofs pieces in a kit when they're not all put together. These are the colours I'm probably going to use. I'm going to use Tamiya XF10 flat brown and Rail Match acrylic weathered black. I'm probably going to use the Tamiya for the walls and the weathered black for the coal wooden walls themselves here, because they probably wouldn't have been that vibrant black. They would have been pretty close, but they would have been brown and then very weathered black. They probably would be weathered as well. And also the weathered black for the roof. The colours may change depending on how I like them or not. Okay, so as you can see, they are pretty much finished drying. I ended up doing the door for the hut a bit of a different colour. I ended up using Humbrol number 29 Dark Earth, because I thought weathered black probably wouldn't be on the door, and doors are usually a different colour to the rest of the building anyway. So what I'm going to use is Humbrol poly cement to glue it all together, and here are the instructions for putting it all together. Now, that's all fine, but it's not very explanatory in what glue you should use, whether the coal loads are actually glued in as well. I'm going to say they're not for now, but these instructions aren't as detailed as what the ratio ones that I've built have been. Okay, so as you can see, the building part is completed. The coal loads came supplied. They were rubber, but I just fixed real coal to it, and this is the proper real stuff, not like the stuff you get from Pico. It's actually real coal crushed up, and that was just glued down there with some PVA glue. And because it's rubber, it's flexible, that's why it wasn't glued down with, so it might have to be reshaped, etc. But the next step is just the touching up and weathering of the building and the stays themselves. This is just to cover up the glue and the bits that the paint was missed. This will be done with extra bits of paint or weathering powder. I'll be probably using Humbrol weathering powder or Tamiya weathering powder. With the coal yard, or the hut, I didn't put the sign on because it was not that greatly painted, just because of the material of it. And as you can see there, I don't think it'll add heaps to the building. So I'll get on with weathering and touching up. I won't film it because it's a bit of a trial and error method, but I'll show you the results after. Okay, so that's the project done. The office and stays have been weathered and touched up with the same colours, and then weathered with Humbrol smoke weathering powder, and then varnished with an airbrush with Humbrol enamel matte varnish number 49, and I think it all looks rather good. The right stays will be filled in with a bit more coal, as it's got a few gaps in it, but it has a nice varied old used look to it, as coal yards would have looked, and I think it gives, or will give, a nice variation to the newly painted buildings on the layout. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.